It's the last month of 2025. December is watery, she's nebulous, and she's a little bit spicy. My name is Nisha, your guide to celestial omens, and today we're talking about the five most potent transits of December 2025. But before we get started, let's do a quick rundown of the ingresses and lunations for this month. Remember, an ingress is when a planet changes signs, and when we're talking about the lunations, we're just talking about the new and full moon. On the 11th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. Mercury kind of struggles in this sign. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, who prefers to focus on the big picture, and Mercury prefers to focus on the details. But we'll also have the opportunity to explore our expansive ideas. It's a really good time for big picture thinking. Mars moves into Capricorn on December 15th, and Mars loves being in Capricorn. He does some of his best work in this sign. This is when our efforts are the most supported to align with creating our desires in the real world. Being consistent is super supportive right now as well. The sun enters Capricorn on December 21st, so happy birthday to all of my beautiful Capricorns. The sun entering Capricorn aligns with the winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year, but it also signifies the time when the light will slowly begin to overtake the dark. Capricorn represents the resilience and the discipline that gets us through the darkest time of the year. On the 24th, Venus moves into Capricorn. In this sign, Venus can really be creative and connect with others in a way that's practical. The bright side of this transit is being able to connect to the motivation, the patience, and the discipline needed to bring our creative ideas into the real world. But on the darker side, this can also be a bit pessimistic and overly serious. So Venus does really well in this sign as long as she doesn't have to take herself too seriously. Now, let's move on to the five most potent transits of December. The first transit I want to talk about is Mars square Saturn happening on December 8th. This is the immovable force meeting the unstoppable force. Mars wants action, Saturn wants pause. Mars wants motion, Saturn wants constriction. You see where I'm going here? On the world stage, we might see some issues that deal with conflict within systems of authority, for example. On an individual level, this combination of forces can create obstacles towards the things we want to accomplish. Or you might have situations or emotions that kind of brush up against and test your confidence. This transit is about making decisions about your boundaries and your personal agency. It almost feels like those moments where you need to stand up for yourself and dig your feet in, even if something or someone is pushing against you and challenging what you stand for. Number two is Neptune moving direct on December 10th. Neptune spends like half the year retrograde, so that in and of itself isn't the most exciting thing. But what is exciting is when Neptune stations retrograde or direct. And that's because Neptune is such a slow moving planet that whenever it does stuff like changing signs or stationing, we really feel it. And on the 10th, Neptune is stationing direct. That just means it appears to slow down and begin to move forward in the sky after being retrograde for a while. So on the 10th, there might be this feeling of reality shifting. Things might feel a little bit nebulous. This is also really important because it's signaling Neptune's final journey back into Aries. We had a preview of this back in March when Neptune moved into Aries and stayed there until October, and then it moved back into Pisces. But after Neptune moves back into Aries, he'll be there until 2038. So that's about 13 years, give or take, of this transit. If you want a rundown of what this might mean, let me know in the comments. The good news is Neptune moving direct might feel like clearing up some confusion, creative inspiration, or the desire for outward expression as opposed to inward reflection. Number three is Mars square Neptune on December 14th. Remember that unstoppable force we talked about earlier? Well, now that force enters the fog. This might feel kind of confusing and like a day where your actions don't yield your desired results. And on top of that, these are the final moments of Mars in Sagittarius before he moves into Capricorn. This is a point of tension for Mars to be in already, so things might just feel weighed down and frustrating. The lesson here is to take your time and ease through it. Give yourself space to figure things out. Number four is Venus square Saturn on December 20th. This transit can bring up lessons around boundaries and sore points in our relationships that need to be addressed. It can also bring up challenges around feeling a bit disillusioned with the people we are in connection with, or with creativity, or even our desire for pleasure. It's a good time to reevaluate your values and the things that feel important to you. Finally, number five is Venus square Neptune on the 23rd, which I feel like kind of continues this Venus story we're going to be having for a few days. But now the disillusion turns back into illusion. Thinking about this transit feels kind of floaty and ungrounded. The message here is to be wary of those rose colored glasses. Don't forget about the important revelations you had when Venus was squaring Saturn. However, this being right on the heels of Christmas, it might be nice to kind of float along with the people you're connecting with. So, feet on the ground and head in the clouds, as I always like to say. It's time for our cute transit bonus. This month's cute transit bonus is Mercury trine Jupiter on December 6th. If you don't like emotions and feelings, this actually will not be a cute transit for you, but I'm a Scorpio, so. This is a good day to express your deep thoughts and ideas. With Jupiter and nurturing Cancer, the things you say and the way you connect with others feels nurtured and supported. Meanwhile, Mercury's in Scorpio, and in that sign, Mercury can help us receive information without judgment. So, to wrap things up, December's energy is a bit foggy, maybe a little bit confusing, and definitely kind of slow. The message and advice here is to not try to force your way through the month. This is the end of the year, and we're all kind of supposed to be slowing down anyway. So, do your best to have patience with yourself and with those around you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am a brand new channel, so if you would like to be in my first 1000 sub club, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you here. And with that, be safe, please be kind, and I will see you next time. Bye.